Now, do any of you know what sort of psychological damage we do to children by forcing them to cover their faces, teaching them that the air is toxic, that everyone around them is sick? Have you wondered about the health effects of forcing kids to breathe through sweat and spit and dirt-soaked rags every single day? What about learning to read and they can't see the teacher enunciating the words? What does it do to a child's developing immune system if he has to wear a mask all day, every day? You're satisfied to place this burden on children anyway. And why? It's not to keep them safe. They are safe. It's not to keep the adults safe. They can all get vaccinated if they want. No, you do it to make yourselves feel better and to protect yourselves politically. The child's mask is a symbolic security blanket for you, not them.
Well, that clip you just heard is from our next guest, Matt Walsh, writer for the Daily Wire. And he posted this clip on Twitter, and there was an uproar because singer Carrie Underwood had the audacity to like it, enraging liberals all across this country. Matt, first, thanks for joining us, and tell us, were you a Carrie Underwood fan prior to this?
Let's just say that I was. I am now. Well, I'll put it that way. I am a big Carrie Underwood fan now.
And you've been very outspoken on this issue of masks, especially in relation to kids. And she is someone who I believe is based in Tennessee, appreciated what you had to say, has liked it. And it created this uproar. People so mad at her for liking this tweet. Yet she, and as far as I know, has yet to apologize. Do you think she's going to be holding firm? And do you think that's because many parents agree with you, regardless of where they are politically? Do you find that when you speak on this, people of all political persuasions are thanking you for speaking out?
Yeah, well, I find especially people on the left, and Carrie Underwood, as far as her political, I don't know what her political persuasions are. Part of the what makes her so ridiculous is the assumption that because she doesn't think we should force kids to wear masks in school for 8 hours a day, she must be some sort of MAGA right-wing extremist, right? And maybe she is on the right, but there's no reason why it has to be that way. It's not an inherently political issue. We've made it that way. So what I found is I have heard from plenty of parents who are more liberal, but they'll message me privately because this has become so political, and they feel like for them to come out as being anti-mask mandate is some sort of betrayal, or would be seen as betrayal to, the people on their side. And it's completely ridiculous. This comes down to the data and the science, which I tried to lay out in that school board speech. And all of that clearly shows that the mask is, at a minimum, not necessary for kids because they're at such a low risk from this disease in the first place. And that's just what the data says. It says what it says.
But as you say, the left really, they've said we'll follow the science, but really what they mean is follow what we say. And we'll say that our decisions are based on science. But this has become so politicized to the point now, Matt, I don't know if you've seen this, but the Washington Post has now picked up this story in a piece today. This is the headline. Carrie Underwood's account clicked like on an anti-mask tweet. The outraged reaction shows what happens when country stars are silent on politics. I mean, is there a part of you that just rolls your eyes at the fact that we're talking about, and that this is controversial, that a country singer liked a tweet, and now this is, cause for outrage? People are deleting Carrie Underwood songs off their Spotify playlist because she liked something that maybe they disagree with?
Yeah, I wouldn't even know personally what my favorite singers and musicians. I would have no idea what they're liking on Twitter because it doesn't matter to me at all. I'm not checking. So the fact that anyone is even checking in the first place is bizarre to me. But then caring, the idea that if you're a fan of the way someone sings, they also have to agree with everything you think on every issue is completely absurd. And I do roll my eyes about it, but at the same time, I have to admit. It's good for me because this is, I've gotten hundreds of thousands of additional views to the video, and that's part of the irony here is that this outrage has only driven more people to the video they're upset about to begin with. So as far as I'm concerned, great, go ahead and have a hissy fit about it. All you're doing is bringing this message to more people, and that's fine by me.
There is a lot of irony here. I was even thinking about how so many on the left want singers and artists to speak up about politics, but only when it aligns with their ideology. And when somebody happens to like a conservative like you, and by the way, I have no idea what she thinks about you personally. I think she just liked what you had to say. It creates all this outrage. And so do you think that the mob really wants artists to speak up, or do they just want their own political persuasion out there and they're going to try to silence anybody who thinks differently than them?
Yeah, well, first of all, as far as how she feels about me personally, my guess is that she had no idea who I was, and maybe now has found out and is thinking, oh, geez, I wish I hadn't clicked on that one. I don't know if that's true or not. That would be my guess. But yeah, you're exactly right that they say they want these people to speak up and have their voice heard and all of that. But what they really mean is that they want, celebrities just like everyone else to demonstrate their fealty to the leftist agenda. What they want is absolute conformity on every single issue. And it's pretty scary to see that in this country where there's this desire and demand, this need for ideological conformity. And of course, this comes from the people who also are always talking about diversity and everything. But as we know, the one thing they don't want is diversity of thought and opinion.
Absolutely. No, you can look as different as you want, but you've got to think exactly the same. These are also the same folks who spent, the years between 2017 and 2021 shouting resist. But as soon as we have a new president, resist turns into obey. And to that end, I mean, is that why you think this video has really touched a nerve? Because you were saying things to that school board, to those people in a position of authority, and you're doing so respectfully. I mean, you weren't calling them names, but you were definitely calling them out for not paying attention to the science, for as you say, using masks as a security blanket for them. That message, it really does seem is resonating, I think, far beyond just the normal conservative audience.
Yeah, I think so. In some ways, it's been interesting how widespread the video has become and the reaction to it, because I don't say anything in the video that's any different from what you hear people say all the time. I mean, if you're sitting in a living room with someone talking about this, these are the kinds of things they say. So it's not like I made any deeply insight. I like to think that I made some brilliant and insightful points and I'm such a genius, but really this is just basic common sense that everybody, the point that I make a point in the speech about comparing it to the flu and how the flu poses a greater threat to kids than COVID does. Now, in different age groups, that's not the case, but it is the case with kids. So why didn't anyone ever even consider masking during flu season? So I made that point as well. Millions of people have made that same exact point, but I think this just shows that people what they want someone with an audience to just speak a little bit of common sense, especially on the masking issue and everything related to COVID, because that's the one thing we're missing is just basic common sense has gone out the window, and I think people are just kind of starving for it at this point.
Absolutely. Well, listen, Matt, I appreciate you giving folks a heaping helping of common sense. Matt Walsh from the Daily Wire with us here on O'Connor and Company. It is 8:15. Time now for WMAL traffic and weather. Every 10 minutes.